You know, I've come to this. I don't mind accepting bias in the British media, because I think it'd be naive not to. For example, the BBC is a state media, the British state media, so I don't mind seeing biased reports, and inevitably, in the case of Venezuela, because they're providing the most dangerous threat, which is the threat of a successful alternative to the rapacious capitalist society that we have, it's going to be criticised at every opportunity. However, when you get to the stage where the reporting is just inaccurate, it's not about bias or an opinion, it's just factually inaccurate. Now, one aspect of this is this fixation on Hugo Chavez and the attempt to discredit him in every way possible. So whether that is describing him as a dictator, which even the opposition would accept he isn't, he just factually isn't a dictator, or whether that's saying, whether that's saying that he's suffering a lot from illness or this and that. But one statement that I found particularly amusing is the idea that he's some kind of elusive figure. I don't know how a person could be more in the public eye, and if this is elusive, I really don't want to know what he's like when he's not elusive. In the first week I was here, the first day he is speaking to thousands of young people in the sports stadium in Caracas, and the Venezuelan Olympic team had just come back and he is speaking to them. The next day he spoke to tens of thousands of people in Merida. The next day, tens of thousands of people in Zulia. The next day, I think he made a surprise visit at a festival in Caracas for the launching of the Miranda satellite with a young people's festival. The next day, he did a lengthy interview on television and he opened a factory, I'm not sure where. The next day, he spoke to tens of thousands of people in Uruguay. The next day, he came to Caracas and there were millions of people and he spoke there. How could you be less elusive than that? Let's actually talk about it in factual terms. And it's, to be honest, it's irresponsible and unprofessional. I don't respect these media organisations, but a lot of people read these newspapers every day, and I think people living in Britain have a right to accurate information. We want to talk about democracy, freedom of expression, freedom of press. Part of that freedom is having the access to accurate information, and people are just being misinformed, blatantly misinformed about what is happening in Venezuela. There's one correspondent currently writing about Venezuela called Rory Carroll. He's a Wasteman. What he's writing has no resemblance to reality. I don't know which Venezuela he's visiting or which Caracas or where. I don't know where he is. I literally don't know where he is or what planet he's living on, but he's got a great imagination. Mashallah, Rory Carroll. Fantastic imagination. In fact, if he was a storyteller, a fictional novel writer, he'd be very successful. But as a professional news, this is a key word we need to emphasize. What you're supposed to be writing is news. That's factual accounts of things that have happened, not some kind of fantasy that you're living in. So I think he needs to work on the accuracy of his reporting.